Welcome to Like Pigs in Space, an arts and culture podcast. I'm Aaron Mason.
And I'm Max Mason.
And we're back after the review week.
Yeah.
And it's episode...
Episode 21.
Episode 21. Yay. Once this posts. Yeah,
passing into the threshold of statistically longest running podcast. Or top 1%.
Top 1%, yeah. Of the longest running podcasts of all time. Once we get the 21st episode up. Now, the world may end before Friday, before this goes up, but
possibly.
Yeah. So, and then it wouldn't matter anyway. So,
yeah.
Well, good.
Cool.
Well, I'll let you, or I'll turn it over to you and get us started. I mean, how was your week?
Oh, it was good. It was normal. Nothing too crazy happened.
Yeah.
I think we're just kind of getting things situated for going to Seattle.
Cool.
Which I think is going to be really fun. We have some places planned out.
Nice
to go to. Along with like the sculpture gardens and some museums. There's a place in like the Fremont area that is a music store, but it's like 2 stories of basement.
Oh, wow. Just down below. Okay.
Yeah. And they mostly do like acoustic stuff, but they also have like dulcimers and harps and stuff. So that'll be fun to go and mess with. And
have you played a dulcimer?
I haven't. Well, no, I haven't. Not like a hammered one. I've done the little like pluck ones.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that's cool. I'm going to El Paso on Monday. And
exciting.
I'm going by train.
From Tucson?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I looked it up. I was like, ooh, I don't have to drive. Now,
yeah.
I have to drive coming back, but that's okay.
Is it about the same length, a little, or trains a little longer?
So it's like 4.5 hours to drive. And this one says it's 6 hours to take the train because there are some stops, but still, that's not much different.
Yeah. That'll be fun.
Yeah. And I can work the whole, like I can, it's big seats and I can have they have Wi-Fi, I think, and all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty solid.
Yeah.
Anyway,
awesome.
Yeah. Should be interesting. I'll let you know how it goes. Maybe I'll have to record something while I'm on the train.
Yeah. Cool.
So.
Well,
okay.
I think I mentioned last week that I had something planned that was an analysis of something that didn't deserve to be analyzed.
Sure.
But then I read a book also this week.
Okay.
And I decided, like, actually, I think I need to talk about this more.
All right.
So I actually haven't done a whole lot of prep besides reading some other reviews of this book.
Okay.
And a few like theories about it. So I hope this goes well. I don't have any notes.
Well, if
it's a little scattered, that's why.
Fun off the cuff.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool. And I think I'll also say that I'll probably spoil a little bit of it because I just want to talk about it.
Okay. That's okay.
So let's see. I will start by saying, so this is by an author and her name is Jacqueline Harpman.
Okay.
So she was born in 1929.
Oh, cool.
In Belgium.
All right.
And as a child, her family fled Belgium during World War II to Casablanca in Morocco.
Oh, wow.
And so that's kind of an intense childhood.
Yeah.
And then she started doing work as a psychoanalyst. That's when, once the war was over, once she was able to get back into school, that's what she did and started working as that. She's actually wrote kind of a lot.
Oh.
About, I think it was 29 books is what I counted.
That's significant.
Yeah. And only a couple, they're all in French. Okay. Only a couple have been translated into English. And this is one of them. So this book was published in 1996,
okay,
I believe. Let me just double check. Or 95, and then translated into English in 97.
Okay.
And it has it's had its fans and its followers, but it hasn't really been in the culture for a lot of time until I think 2019. The person who translated it originally revised their translation a little bit, and it was republished in 2020, and it got very popular.
Okay. That's
and
neat.
Oh, do you have?
No, that's neat.
Okay.
That's neat. That gets another life.
And she passed away in 2012.
Okay.
The author.
Yeah.
And I think her kids have been really persistent in making sure that her legacy is recognized.
Right.
Because she wasn't like completely unknown, but they just wanted to make sure she got the recognition she deserved. And I think she does now, especially because of this.
Good.
So this book, I'll show you, is called I Who Have Never Known Men.
Okay. Oh.
So, man, it's just great. So it's kind of a weird book because it doesn't super fit into any sort of genre really concisely.
Okay.
A lot of people who I've seen talk about it have been like, they review a lot of sci-fi books.
Okay.
Because there is an element of that in a way. But it's definitely kind of like a speculative fiction, kind of this weird world that you just kind of get dropped into.
So, okay. So it's it has some elements of several things then.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the basic premise is it starts with a narrator, and she's an old woman at this point, but she starts talking about her life, and the first 14, 15 years of it that she can remember, she was in a bunker in the ground with 39 other women.
Oh.
And that's how it starts.
Okay.
Like all the other women are much older than she was, like 10, 15 years older. But and they had some sort of memory of life before something happened.
Yeah.
And then the last decade or so they've been in this bunker. And they don't know what happened. They don't know when they were put in the bunker. And they're not even sure why the narrator is there, because she's a child. But the narrator has no memory of life before the bunker.
Oh, interesting.
So that's how it starts. Which it wasn't planned. I've been wanting to read this for a while, but it's funny that it also lines up with watching Kimmy Schmidt.
Right.
Which I feel like the last 4 episodes I've mentioned Kimmy Schmidt in some way.
Yeah. It's on. I was thinking that because you have been mentioning it. I was like, oh, it's kind of Kimmy Schmidt just with more women, but it's also kind of sounds like Cloverfield too, a little bit.
Yeah.
Some of the versions of the movie where they've been underground for a lot longer.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh, that's kind of, interesting, the theme.
So she starts talking about her life. So they're in this cage, 40 women, and they're guarded constantly by 3 men who switch out, these guards, and they never talk to the women, and they just kind of like will crack a whip at them if they do something the guards don't like.
Okay.
And nothing too like egregious, like the women aren't allowed to touch each other or hug or anything.
No.
But they just have no idea. They have no information. Their schedules for food and for sleeping are just kind of random. There's no access to the outside world.
Weird.
And it seems like, so it's just kind of a lot of questions out of nowhere, right out the beginning.
Yeah.
So the narrator is talking, and she feels a lot of anger and distance between her and all the other women, because they can all talk about things, what they remember.
Yeah.
Like being mothers or having a job or something. And the narrator just doesn't get it. She's like, why do they talk about this? And also, why don't they tell me about it? Like,
right.
Like she just can't understand it. Like it feels like they just want to keep her ignorant.
Okay.
For no reason. And so she starts kind of disappearing, and not like disappearing, but going to her own mind and trying to find something there. Makes sense. She starts noticing that one of the guards who she sees every once in a while is a lot younger than the other guards who come by. And so she's kind of like transfixed on this guy and will watch him all the time, and starts like having thoughts about him, and discovers this like, a way to enjoy herself by herself. And it really empowers her, because she's like, oh, now I have a secret. Now I have something that they don't know.
Oh.
And they try to get it out of her a lot, and she's just like will kind of explode at them and be like, you guys don't tell me anything. Why do I need to tell you about the one thing that I have to myself?
Does she kind of flaunt it around that she's got a secret, or do they just
know that she's acting a little differently?
Okay.
Or notice.
Yeah.
Because she'll just kind of sit on the ground and stare for hours and hours. But it's really interesting, this like her mind's, her psyche in a way.
Yeah.
Because she's like, a completely blank slate, but she has a lot of curiosity about the world, and she wants to know things. She wants to have some sort of power in this completely powerless situation.
Interesting.
And eventually she starts realizing like there's one woman who talks to her a little bit and will give her like bits and pieces. And she starts realizing like, oh, if your heart rate beats at a certain amount of time, we can like count our heart rate and figure out how long days are here and how long nights are here.
Oh, weird.
And gain a little bit of power from these guards who want to take every bit of power from us.
Right.
And so they start doing that, and they kind of determine lengths. And it's not super important, but it's just a thing they can do now, something new that none of the other women have thought of doing.
Yeah.
And then one day while they're getting food, there's like a little hatch, and the guards can like slide food in. And while they're sliding the food in, this alarm goes off, and the guards just like freak out, drop everything, and run and disappear, and they're just gone. And that's also the last we see of them ever.
Oh, weird.
But because this just happened randomly, the keys were still in the door. Ooh. So they're able to escape this bunker.
Okay.
And so the narrator, she doesn't have a name. They just call her the child. The other women. She's like, it's really tense because they're like, the alarm went off for like 10, 11 minutes or so, and then it was just gone. All the guards were gone. They were able to like walk around and see this like huge pantry full of like years and years supply of food.
Oh, wow.
And like some of their boots and clothes and stuff. And she's making her way up the staircase, and when she gets to the top, there's like this little cabin over the staircase, and they're outside, and they're able to make it outside, and it's like raining, and she's like very excited because like it's the first time she's had anything other than the bunker and the cage.
Bunker. Wow.
And so slowly the other women start realizing that it's okay, that they can make it out.
Yeah.
And they see that this world is just like a big empty plain.
Ooh.
And there's rolling hills and there's some trees, but it's completely barren.
Oh, weird.
And so they're not even sure if they're really on Earth anymore, or if some sort of, apocalyptic event has happened.
Right.
One thing about this is there's going to be a lot of questions that just don't get answered.
How is it? What's the style of writing? Is it like, so it's just from her point of view, or is there some omniscient stuff, or?
It's just her point of view.
Okay.
So yeah, as the book starts, she is just telling her story from being an older woman, and there's bits and pieces where she kind of interjects from the future, being like, and that was the last time we saw the guards or something like that.
So it was it's like a memoir.
Yeah. In a way, it's a lot like that.
Okay.
And so the women come out and they decide like, they've been in this bunker for so long, let's just walk and get away from it.
Right.
And they start walking and they never find anything until they start finding other cabins. Okay. And they go down and they find these bunkers that are completely identical to theirs. And they go in and they find the cages, and they're also full, like they all have 40 women. Some of them have men in them, but they all died in their cages. None of them were lucky enough to
have the
when
keys.
The alarm go off, have the keys there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's creepy.
Yeah. And so in a way, this book is very, very bleak.
Right.
Kind of like crushing in a way.
Yeah.
But I think the most interesting thing is the main character and this idea of like, what is a person if if culture and memories and humanity are just completely taken away.
Right.
And what we find out about her is that she's just really curious and she's really resourceful.
Okay.
Like they come across dozens of bunkers and they're all the same. They'll have 40 people in them and they're all dead. Like they never find any evidence of anything.
Yeah.
They're also all always powered. Like the pantries and the coolers are always on. The lights are always on. And they decide to like settle down and start building houses and just existing.
Yeah.
I think I'll just go more in the story. Eventually, all these women, they're a large range of ages, and they start dying off because they're just old.
Sure.
And they decide that instead of just letting people die of their illnesses or their injuries, that they are gonna like mercy kill them.
Oh, interest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the thought is like we've suffered a lot.
Yeah.
We've had everything taken from us, and we don't just want to suffer again.
Do the different women assume different roles in the, like, is there any explanation of this group or this person went and gathered or built, or some people had knowledge of something?
Yeah, a lot of the women have like, vague memories and vague understanding of society beforehand. So there are some women who are able to cook and who enjoy cooking. The narrator and a few other women are really like building.
Okay.
So they do more of the building. And they also have groups of women who will go out for weeks at a time finding other bunkers and getting the supplies from them to continue.
Which is a good idea.
So yeah, they
because the question, and not to detract, but the question comes up in how the character is written is it would be interesting to kind of analyze if it's written as if she doesn't know any of these things that are happening, like what is a building, what is cooking, what is, all these that she hasn't been exposed to, or is it written kind of like somehow she does know it? That would be interesting to see.
I think it's more written as she doesn't know.
Okay.
And is just copying others, and
and she's curious and clever, so she can kind of she maybe has abilities to mimic.
Yeah.
So interesting, because that's like how would you write that to show somebody it's not exposed? Like, how do you write that person? That's kind of an interesting exercise. Yeah,
and I think that's where her history as a psychoanalyst really comes into play, because
there you go.
She captures it really well. And so yeah, they decide to start doing the mercy killing, and the narrator doesn't understand why people have a problem with that.
Okay.
Like, well, they all decided, but no one can do it.
Right.
Besides the narrator, she's the only one who's like, well, they want that. They want to be put out of their suffering.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't I do that for them?
Because she didn't grow up with some certain moral code. She just like, it's just all practical. That's interesting.
And some of those scenes are really, they're not like graphic, but they're really upsetting.
Okay. Okay.
So there's one woman who she becomes paralyzed on one side of her body, and they can tell like from her eyes that she's just like, I just want to be done with this. Like, there's some women who, well, I think what inspired it was there's one woman who, I forget what happened to her. She got sick of something, and before they started doing the mercy killing, she went down to one of the bunkers they were nearby and hung herself.
Oh, okay.
And they were like, we don't want this to happen to any more of us. We don't want any of us to feel like we have to do this alone and have to die alone.
Right. Interesting. Yeah, and that's, the history that they have as opposed to hers is, that's really interesting.
Yeah. So the woman who's paralyzed, the narrator goes to just like stab her through the heart. One of the ladies was a nurse beforehand, and so she kind of shows her like, here's how you can like bypass the ribs, just go straight into the heart. And as she's doing it, the paralyzed woman, she used the one good side of her body to like reach up and like caress her face and showing that she's thankful.
That is upsetting.
And there's another lady who she breaks her legs and is just like, I don't want to suffer any with this because they're not
Yeah.
going to set right there. And so she's going and she's like has the knife, and the lady is like tells the narrator like, you are kind, as she's killing
wow.
her. She's so harsh.
This is the disturbing version of the cow bred to be eaten in Hitchhikers.
Yeah. Right.
Because he does everything he can to not upset you and say I want this, but
Yeah.
it's much more disturbing when it's not a comedy and it's a human.
Yeah. And the other, disturbing thing is that she isn't super affected by it most of the time.
Right.
She doesn't understand why that would be a hard thing and why they'd want to comfort her.
Right.
Yeah.
There's been characters like this in I think it was there's a couple. So in popular film, that's what Black Widow in like the Marvel films.
Oh, yeah.
Where she was taught was supposed to be a bunch of young lady assassins.
Yeah.
And then there's another one that I think Jennifer Lawrence, I think she's in it, where she's trained to be an assassin, but they're trained from a very young age. And
it's
so
not
they
the Hunger Games.
It's not her, but Hunger Games is but no, there's another one where they're trained to be assassins from a young age, and so they just do these jobs and there's no real emotion because it's always been this way. So I think there's been maybe more recently characters that kind of had that same element of having removed the conscience about life and death.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting. That's like the argument or the discussion between nature and nurture. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's really, it could happen that because there's been no upbringing of education, a moral compass, religion, all those things that you don't have. It's just a practicality to it.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
And she is she is very practical. But there are moments where I think it gets to her. Like there's one moment in the bunker where she was talking to one of the women as they were going to bed, and she just had this random urge to like jump over and hug her.
Yeah.
The other woman. And so she did, and the guard like cracked the whip and she had, jumped back, and so she has moments where something comes through and she does have some humanity.
Yeah.
And not that she doesn't have it for the rest of it, but she is very practical in that way.
Is she and is it written so she's practical but not cruel?
Yeah.
Yeah, so so she's not doing it out of malice. It's just out of A equals B equals C, right?
Right. Yeah.
So interesting.
So it gets going, and it comes down to her and one other woman, and she can tell the one other woman had been in a relationship with one of the women that they formed once they got out of the bunker.
Okay.
And her partner had long since died.
Yeah.
Years ago. And this is all over the course of like 20 years so far.
So they've made it kinda.
Yeah,
for a while.
Yeah. Until, they just start dying off. So it's the narrator and this one other woman. I think Laura is her name. And it's Laura, I think, just kind of the way it's described is like her spirit just kind of gives up. Like there's not anything wrong with her. Her heart rate's fine. But she just like sits and stares like out in the open all day.
Yeah.
And there's a point where she's like, where the narrator is like how tragic it is that like I guess they didn't get along ever. Like the narrator didn't like Laura, and Laura didn't like the child.
Okay.
And she's kind of being like, how tragic it is that the last person she's going to ever know is someone she doesn't like that much.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
But there's this paragraph that's kind of long, and I'm going to read it.
Okay.
Where it's kind of the last moments of Laura.
Okay.
So I'll try my best to not mess it up.
Okay.
I was fascinated by Laura. She seemed to be disappearing inside herself, withdrawing further and further. At first, there was still some expression on her face, the ghost of the smile she'd given to welcome me, a hint of weariness, a faint grimace when an insect settled on her hand. She didn't budge. I brushed the creature away, but she seemed oblivious. The setting sun illuminated her face. There was no shadow, nothing to see except for skin, taut over tissue that was still living, a live model with peaks and throws, different from those of a plain or a hill that the eyes could explore, but without learning anything other than their configuration. I could have touched her for sure, run my hands over her cheek, but would she have felt it? There was a moment when everything was as if suspended. I could see clearly that the little artery in her wrist was still beating, but I was certain that Laura was dead. Her breathing was soft and regular, with an automatic rhythm that was unable to stop, but she was no longer thinking. Sitting on the beach, gazing towards the setting sun, she lost her mind in the cerebral convulsions, the mysterious nooks and crannies of the memory. She had gone backwards, seeking a world that made sense, losing her way among the labyrinths, slowly deteriorating, dimming noiselessly, being obliterated, and then fading away so gradually that it was impossible to pinpoint the transition between the flickering little flame and the shadow. As the sun touched the horizon, her wrist stood out clearly in the evening light, and I saw that there was no more movement under her white skin. I let out a deep breath. My last tie had been cut.
Wow. That's...
So
yeah.
I knew when I first read that paragraph that I was like, that's gonna stick with me for a long time. And last couple days, that's been most of what I'm thinking about. That description of her just like fading away and being so caught up in her memories that she loses herself.
Right.
So she buries her, but the narrator now has this like sense of excitement in a way.
Yeah.
Because once she got out of the bunker, she didn't want to stop moving. She wanted to keep exploring and wanted to find something.
Yeah.
And only agreed to settle down because of the other women.
Right.
But now she was all alone, and she was like really excited, like couldn't sleep the next night.
Wow.
And got out and just started walking.
That's cool. That's interesting. So if this is 20 years, so how old was she when they got out of the bunker, do you think?
Probably like 15 or 16.
So she's about 35, 36, somewhere in there. So yeah, because this is reminding me of something where it's that kind of they're gone and now you're excited because you can move on.
Yeah.
Type of thing. So cool. So what does she do?
So she does. She keeps going on. And this is a point where like I really started to understand her a lot more, and at least understand that impulse. Because I know there's so many times when I have been like on a road trip or something, or just driving, and I always have the thought that I wonder what it would be like for like the like original explorers. Right. To like be walking out across the land and wanting to do that myself. Like I wish I could just walk and just go straight and see what I find and have this whole kind of unknown wilderness ahead of me. And
yeah, I always wonder if I'm the first person to touch a certain area.
Yeah.
Like, cause I've gone, out of my way somehow.
Yeah.
That's interesting that we kind of share that.
Mm-hmm.
So
there was the other day I was looking at like Google Maps, and I found this like triangle of land between St. Helens, Mount Adams, and Mount Hood.
Yeah.
Like I wonder like what's right in the middle of that. And I kind of looked around, and it didn't look like anything too significant was there. And it's like, it would be cool to go there and be like right in between all of them.
Yeah. That'd be neat.
And so she keeps going, and she mentions like she kind of walks for another 20 years.
Oh.
And she's like, I come across hundreds of bunkers, and they're all the same, and they all always have a cage full of dead people. And and she's like slowly realizing like there is no one left. It's just me. and maybe there's like another bunker that I haven't come across yet.
Right.
There's one point where she's like standing on a hill and sees a bunker, and she's just like I just can't anymore. I'm not going to find anything. And she's like, maybe that would have been the one. Maybe I would have found an empty cage there. But I just need to do something else. I need to not walk in the straight line.
Right.
There's one point, right before she sets off, she goes down to the bunker that they were closest to with all the houses they had built. And it was a men's bunker. And she goes to like pay her respects in a way. And that all the women had always done. They've always gone down to the bunker and seen the bodies, and like there's one lady who would sing a song for them and like pay their respects in that way. And so she goes to do that, and she notices that there's a guy there who is separate from all the other bodies, and he's taken a couple of the mattresses and like propped himself up, so he's sitting upright and like staring at the door.
Yeah.
And she like spends a long time staring at him, and like the way she says it, he seemed to me to have died proud, holding his head up high, his big eyes staring at the dark passage with an air of self-respect and defiance. And I think that's one of a really big element of this is this sense of wanting to find power and control in like total meaninglessness.
Yeah.
And so she sees that, and it just sticks with her, and she's like, whatever happens to me, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make sure I'm propped up when I die and have some respect about me.
Right. Oh, wow.
So she's going along. She eventually finds a bus. That's on this like overgrown road. Okay. And she goes inside, and inside is a bunch of the guards. They're all skeletons now, but they're all in the guards uniform. And it's clear to them that they died like instantly, not knowing that they're about to die, because there's no like sign of struggle or panic. They're all just like sitting upright in their seats.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. And again, this question, never any kind of explanation for what happened. But she's able to get some supplies from them. And they also all have the same book in their like book bag, and she gradually learns to read, and it's like a horticulture book, just like a gardening guide. And so she reads and rereads that, and kind of learns language. And she follows the road that the bus was on for a little while, and it just leads nowhere. It just keeps going and going, and I think she loses it at one point just because it's so nothing.
Weird.
But towards the end of it, she like develops this new method of trying to map out where the bunkers are.
Okay.
And in it, she ends up finding this pile of stones that she's like, that's not natural. That's got to be arranged,
right,
specifically. And it's like one of the only different things she's ever seen. And so she takes it apart, and underneath it is this latch, and she opens it up, and it's this like big spiral staircase, and she goes down, and there's this it's another bunker, but it's different because it's like a home, it's like a house. It's very cozy and warm, and there's beds, and there's a bath, and there's like bookshelves, and it's the first thing she's ever seen that's been like designed with comfort in mind.
Oh, wow.
And and she just decides to settle down there, and that's where she's writing the book from, and spends the rest of her life.
Wow.
In comfort, and
there was nobody there.
No one there. Just, again, tons of food. There's like shelves full of electronics and things, but she's like, I don't know what these are. I wouldn't know how to even begin using them.
Right. Weird.
And so it just kind of it ends, and she goes to just wait out the rest of her life. And that's it.
Okay.
And so it's really like, if you read it very literal, it is super bleak and almost kind of a nothing story in that way.
Right.
But then you start thinking, okay, well, what did happen? Like, did the Arthur know, or not Arthur? Did the author know?
Right.
And it got me thinking. Like, I think she did. I think it was intentional enough that she
Sure.
knew what was going on.
Yeah.
It reminded me of like Twin Peaks or something,
Okay.
where
Yeah.
like David Lynch knew exactly everything, but he wasn't going to tell you that.
Right.
He might leave
Right.
some clues behind, but
Yeah. Oh, wow.
but I think what I really like a lot about it is this like allegory or analogy for just life in general. We're all just kind of thrown into this world, and that doesn't make any sort of sense, and we have to try and find some sense in it.
Oh.
And it makes me think that, or hope that, if how do I want to say it? I hope that whoever reads this does have questions. I wouldn't want to meet the person who didn't have questions about what happened,
Right.
because I wouldn't want to meet a person who didn't have questions about life.
Well, I had a thought. So it's really about finding yourself, because I often have that question related to this of, you have somebody who had a horrible childhood but they were successful later in life.
Yeah.
And then you have people who had a horrible childhood and continue to be horrible. And then you have people that just give up and die young because of a horrible life. And so this seems to be that encouragement of, or I think it's a hopeful story, even though it sounds bleak, because it says, look at what this person was given, which was nothing.
Mm-hmm.
No, not even knowledge. They don't even know if there is such a thing as a better life.
Yeah.
Because there's no evidence that there is anything else.
Right.
Other than the same thing over and over and over again. And so why is she still going on? Right.
Yeah.
And that seems to be the thing with a lot of people, is, do your circumstances have to dictate how happy or sad you are, or can you take control of it? And that's the difference between somebody who succeeds and takes action, or somebody who has life happening to them.
Yeah.
You can participate in your life, or you can have it happen at you.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it also really shows that in how, especially at the beginning, how just angry she is all the time, how much she like really resents the other women.
Right.
And how eventually, as she's able to, have this random event, this random chance happen, how she's able to grow as a person. And there's a line in like the second or third paragraph, it's right at the beginning, where it says, I was forced to acknowledge too late, much too late, that I too had loved, that I was capable of suffering, and that I was human after all.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that it also gives that kind of feeling of what it's like to develop coping mechanisms for different things. Like, I've had ADD probably forever, and just had to figure out ways to cope with it.
Mm-hmm.
And not all of them are great. And then you develop more and more, and sometimes you succeed, sometimes you don't. And there's a big difference. You can sit here and make excuses, say, well, I've got ADD, I can't do any of this. Which, I know people like that. I know people who just say, well, I have ADD, I can't focus. I can't get a job because of it. And like that, that maybe, but I'm just as, I have it too.
Yeah.
And I've always had a job, and that's a little insensitive because everybody's different. Everybody has different things that and develops differently.
Yeah.
But I never want to. I basically had a pretty decent, easy life. It's hard because of, I didn't grow up with a wealthy family or something. So that there have been struggles, but
Yeah.
I wasn't beat and I wasn't hungry and I wasn't living on the streets. And so I don't want to be thinking that I don't want to make it like I have the privilege to be miserable just because I could have an excuse. I don't want to have excuses. And so and I admire people who don't have excuses.
Yeah. There was for a long time, I definitely have a lot of ADHD tendencies, but you know, it was never tested or diagnosed.
Right.
For a long time.
Right.
So I would always say that I have maybe HD.
Hey, that's good. I grew up with maybe HD.
I was like, everything about me says that I do have ADHD, but I'm not diagnosed and I'm not on medication, so I can't really let that control me.
Right. Yeah. And that's the really interesting thing, and that's the difference between it's the difference between succeeding or not, and it's just probably a switch one way or the other, right?
Yeah.
And I noticed that when I'd talk to somebody, I was telling you about this, or I talked to somebody at work who had succeeded despite, challenges in their life, which I don't know if it's that big a challenge, but they didn't have a college education, but they were still a leader in the company. So, and I was like, and then I told you about that, and then you applied it to the work you were doing, which was, high school work.
Yeah.
But you were working at the grocery store and you applied it and you didn't give up, and you had a couple of tough things happen where you didn't get fired. so the outcome was okay, but it wasn't really your fault. It's just those were the kind of things, somebody else took advantage of the situation. So and those are tough, and you could have just said, well, I give up now. It wasn't my fault. Why am I getting punished? But you don't, that's not how you succeed. You say, okay, I understand the error that I made, but they haven't fired me and they've given me this other job, and I really kind of like this other job.
Yeah.
And so, those kind of things happen, and it's just neat to see that. I've seen you do that, and I've seen others of the kids do that too.
Yeah. I think that's a big part of it. There's a quote on here that describes it as a feminist Kafka.
Yeah.
In a way, where very much like Kafka things is just like this wild, crazy situation you have no control over, but you still have to do things. You still have to exist.
So it's interesting because she would have known. I think she might not have known of this book, but this is an interesting, different take on what happens. And they're both sci-fi books, but there's one that I read. Speaking of feminism, it's called Herland.
Okay.
And it was written in 1915 by Charlotte Perkins Gilman. I think it's kind of it's kind of a good contrast to this book. Because what it is that there's a isolated society composed entirely of women, and that's kind of what you have when they get out of the bunker.
Yeah.
Except for they flourish, and they in this world they have children through parthenogenesis, a form of asexual reproduction.
Okay. Yeah.
And then they kind of tell the story of these sociology students who, there's three guys, and they find this society, they go to it, and then they're and so it's kind of a whole group who have, because they only ever produce female offspring.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the same situation. I mean, you could have easily called it the same title as this book, right?
Yeah. Right.
Because they don't know there's a whole series of women, and in fact, I think that it revolves around one of the younger women who was generated,
Right.
and then they decide for the diversity of the flock to approve actual male female reproduction type of thing.
Yeah.
As an experiment. I think one of the guys stays behind or something. It's been a while since I read it, but it's really interesting, because they decided to just wait it out in your book, in your book.
Yeah.
And this book, they create this utopian society, or that's the approach that the author took. And so it's interesting how you can think about is it feminism one way or the other? And this one being written in 1915, there's still a couple of cringe things.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, we're a utopian society of women. We don't need men. And then the men show up and like, well, maybe we do. A little bit.
Yeah.
But the guys are creepy too. Some of the guys, one of the guys I think is fine, but a couple of the other ones are pretty creepy.
Yeah.
And, but it's an interesting difference.
Yeah.
So,
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think another thing I really liked about, I mean, I've always really been interested and liked like absurdist, but more like existentialist philosophy.
Okay. All right.
This idea of just like, look, nothing really makes sense, but you just gotta, but that's okay, and that's even good in a way.
Yeah.
That you're not being really beholden to anything, and you can just go and find your own happiness.
Yeah.
And she definitely does this. I saw another like analysis of it where it's kind of like an analogy for life in general, how in the universe there's just like all this nothing until this like random event spawns life.
Okay.
And can kind of grow from there.
Yeah.
Whether or not that was what she was really going for, maybe, but I think it's interesting too that it's just like in this one very small chance these women were able to escape, but in every other instance no one was able to escape.
Yeah. It's that multiverse. I mean, it's kind of like all these different scenarios, and they all ended, and there's only the one way that it would have been okay. It had to be timed perfectly.
Yeah.
And often that's the big difference, is that something got timed perfectly so that things changed.
Yeah.
Someone was in the right place at the right time.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, I just think this is great. Great enough to completely derail any other plans I had for discussion.
Good deal.
The one thing that was a little hard to read about it is that there's no chapters and there's no breaks.
Oh.
It's just like one long, not like one long paragraph, but one long section, one long story, or one long chapter.
How long is it?
This one is 166 pages, 165. But it's heavy. It doesn't seem like something you'd want to read all in one sitting.
Yeah.
Because I mean, for as short as it is, it does feel like you kind of feel all 50 years that this book covers, and
yeah.
So
that's interesting.
Yeah. It's interesting how it does that too. Like, she hardly ever says like, now it's been 20 years or now it's been 6 months or something.
Right.
But you still feel that time, you feel that progression.
Right.
Which is really, really cool, really interesting.
That's interesting how you can feel the time without them mentioning the time. That's a fascinating how those things happen where you experience something somehow. but there's no really an explanation of how you could have experienced it. That's cool.
Yeah. So yeah, great book, really fun. I recommend it. To go out and find it.
Yeah.
And enjoy it. I think even as much as we could talk about it here, there's even more to it, and
okay,
probably give it a couple more rereads.
Okay,
but even have more that you can find in it. Yeah,
good deal. So why you've enjoyed these kind of things? Why do you think this impacted you so much? Is it now?
I think one is like the narrator's curiosity with things and wanting to learn and explore is something that I really identify with.
Okay.
That's something I'm always wanting to do. And like I feel like if I was in some sort of like apocalyptic scenario like this,
sure,
I don't know if I'd really stay put anywhere. I don't think I'd want to go off alone. But I'd want to keep moving. And
yeah, that does seem to be a theme in some of the newer apocalyptic, well, a lot of apocalyptic films is there's a few that can stay put, but it's at a great effort. And then most people just keep going. It's a journey when the apocalypse hits. So interesting.
I also really like there's a little bit of philosophizing as you'd expect from some sort of psychoanalyst. Right. But it doesn't seem very preachy or anything. And I think it's the way it talks about humanity and finding community and finding culture is really, really unique and really just like impactful, really touching.
Cool.
I think it's just really beautiful how she talks about it.
Yeah.
And just makes me not more like interested in making friends.
Okay. All right.
Because I wasn't uninterested in making friends.
Right.
But
gives you a sense of urgency about it.
Yeah. And a sense of like what that means and the benefits of that in your life.
I think maybe to put a different title on it is not necessarily making friends, but making a community.
Yeah.
And what that means, because friendship is fine, but if it's, there's a difference between a friendship and a community, because then a friendship is, you don't hate each other. And a community is you rely on each other.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and that's also something I've thought about a lot recently with like the more political landscape. Is there's a lot of like hyper individualism and I'm sometimes caught between that and wanting to be know myself as an individual and who I am as just a singular person, but not wanting that to like be seen as the only way. Yeah. So I think that is where a lot of maybe issues nowadays can come from, is being too individualistic and the breakdown of the being able to have communities.
Right.
Like especially with like there's not a lot of like third spaces, like
I hear you.
Outside of churches.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, that makes sense. That's an interesting analysis of what it's doing to you right now, how it's impacting you right now. So
yeah, which I think is really like it's interesting how poignant something from 1995 can be to 30 years later.
Yeah, but
I mean, I guess things don't change.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like there's a lot out there that's like this either. So
yeah, Yeah, it does seem really, really unique in that way.
Yeah. Well, really cool.
And I think what I said earlier too is like, I want to stay curious about the world.
Yeah.
And, if there's someone who reads this and isn't curious about the world here, I don't know if I'd really enjoy them as a person.
Yeah.
So I think they wouldn't have like a curiosity about the world we're in.
I have interacted with people that are not curious, and it is frustrating because I've talked to people I thought were curious and they are not curious, and it's a letdown. So
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah, and in whatever way someone finds that, like, wants to, because like I think that's why a lot of people but a lot of people are religious, because it helps answer some of those questions.
Sure.
Or a lot of them. And yeah, I think that's good. But even to people who aren't religious, who want to be curious about things, is good too.
Well, it does give a focus. Like, if you want to do good in the world, you can affiliate with a particular church and you can do a lot of community service.
Yeah.
As well. I mean, you can kind of focus your efforts and get a good supporting group, and then you have people around you able to make real change.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's kind of an interesting additional reason to be there.
Yeah. Yeah, that, finding community and finding your way in the world is good.
I agree. I'm going to start singing the Cheers song.
Yeah.
No, I won't. But very cool. Well, thanks for sharing that. That's it's always good to hear the things that are affecting you and impacting you. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah. Well, thanks. I think it might be a kind of a shorter episode.
Yeah.
But I wanted to maybe do something a little shorter so I can get it done quickly, so I won't have to work on it while on vacation.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then I'll stop asking questions.
No, it's okay. You can keep going.
No, I get it. I appreciate it, and I think it was a good conversation. It's good to bring up those thoughts and kind of ponder it. So yeah, cool. Very cool.
Awesome.
All right.
Well, yeah. Well, thanks for anyone. Thanks for everyone listening and continuing to enjoy. Hopefully, I haven't heard otherwise that you're not enjoying. So
yeah, enjoy or endure, whichever it is. Just keep listening. Maybe it will get better. No.
Yeah.
But listen, I'm really enjoying the experience. So that's what's important. So
me too.
And so we'll keep going.
Awesome.
We'll have this archive of 10,000 episodes and still have only 5 followers.
That'd be cool.
It would be great. But it'll be good.
I was talking with Chloe, and I think it'd be really funny to have a "Don't you know who I am" moment.
Yeah.
But because I think there was a Game Grumps bit where they're like, I want to do that one time, but over something really inconsequential.
Yep.
Yeah. I was like, oh, this coupon is expired. And it's like, don't you know who I am?
Yeah.
I have a podcast with 13 followers.
Yeah. Right.
You do not speak to me like that.
I'm popular and an influencer. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But I agree. Well, that's funny. Yeah, I appreciate anybody who's checking in on this and listening. It's great, and been really enjoying this. So let's see what I come up with next week. So
all right, that sounds good.
All right, thanks, and have a great week.
Thanks. Yeah, you too.
All right. Take care.
You too.